Hey, what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and today we're talking about UK grindcore progenitors Napalm Death and their first album in 5 years, Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism via Century Media Records. And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. This is easily one of the most consistently annihilating grindcore albums I've ever heard, I think. I mean, I love me some grind, but I feel like most albums in this genre tend to have a lot of filler. But not so with Throes of Joy. Much like my thoughts on Pig Destroyer's Headcage, Napalm Death perfectly unite the raw anarchy of grind and a strong foundation of earworm grooves to craft an album with not a single superfluous track among them. Getting right into it, Backlash Just Because has an excellent chorus with its relentless D-beats and that cool little mathy, almost Converge-esque transitional riff. You're already headbanging your ass off with this one, and then that sudden change of pace around the 2-minute mark absolutely pulverizes you with that tasty, to quote my friend Rafi, doo-doo face groove for that final stretch. It's like you are already in a mosh pit and then they unleashed a pack of grizzly bears to shake things up. The curse of being a Thrall manically shifts back and forth between D-beats, blasts, and chug-ridden hammer-ons and pull-offs without warning so many times it's likely to give you whiplash. Contagion has a seriously infectious series of chord progressions that never fail to make me want to pick up my guitar and learn them for myself, but also a very bizarre chorus with the title delivered almost like throat singing alongside the jangly guitar riff. Joie de ne pas vivre was an easy early favorite for my very first listen with its devious-sounding syncopated bassline and eerie backing soundscapes. Paired with the dementedly blackened French vocals, it's about as genuinely terrifying as music can get.
I need an adult!
Fluxing the Muscle also stood out from the very beginning with its irresistibly squelchy guitar hook and almost Ministry-like harsh vocals. Returning to the lead singles, Amoral is an especially interesting choice given its particularly idiosyncratic status within the track listing. With its grungy vibe and repetitious driving 4/4 beat, this one feels like something that would have been right at home on 90s radio sandwiched between Helmet and Quicksand. Says Barney Greenway, one thing I've learned over the years is what you don't do to Napalm Death is round the edges off. You don't stop playing fast as fuck, you just don't do it. But what we do better now is amalgamate all the different things so that there's metal and punk and hardcore, but also the alternative stuff. We take all kinds of bands that nobody would even guess. Then there's the obvious stuff like Coil, Swans, and Einstürzende Neubauten. That's all chucked in and amalgamated too. Really, every track ultimately has its own, at least subtle, unique flavor, but none quite so much as a bellyful of salt and spleen. I absolutely adore this song and would have actually loved more of the industrial noise and massive atmosphere of this song with its minimalist focus on pounding drums, rumbling primacy bass, and bizarre sermonizing vocal performances. It's a deeply visceral and unsettling track that is easily one of the most haunting pieces of music that I've heard all year and a fantastic closer to an already impressive album. I love how towards the end it devolves into a complete The Lighthouse-worthy nightmare of violent percussion and distant screams. Random aside, am I the only one that thinks that Barney Greenway looks a lot like Bob Odenkirk?
Better call Saul!
I guess now we really know what happens to Slippin' Jimmy after Breaking Bad. Anyways, whether you're a long-time Napalm Death fan or just getting started in the grindcore genre, I think that Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism offers up a little magic for everyone. Once more from Greenway himself, this album's one step on from Apex Predator Easy Meat. It's about not just picking different aspects of different eras of the band, it's about welding it all together. We were trying to layer the album so there's a lot of noise on the spectrum. We know at its core that Napalm Death is fast, furious, and confrontational and all that, but that doesn't mean we're going to make the same album twice, because what's the fucking point in that? I concur. I give it a 10 for enjoyability. From the breakneck speed blast beats to the more experimental moments, I'm all in for every second of it. I give it a 9 for musicianship. Nothing too flashy, but as always impressively played and the slower parts excellently composed. And I give it an 8 for innovation. Honestly, they deserve an extra point alone for a belly full of salt and spleen. Round that out to a 9 overall, and it's an A- for Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism. Get it once more via Century Media Records. Y'all, thanks as always for watching, and let me know down in the comments what you thought of this album, and also what's your favorite Napalm Death album? Are you a longtime fan, or are you just getting started with this one? And hey, stick around because there's plenty more videos coming right after this one. I've actually got a playlist of these reviews, but also tier lists, interviews on the podcast, Bandcamp exploration, you name it, we've got it. Plenty of reasons to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, in the description, you can find links to our social media, the email newsletter, and our Patreon and Subscribe Star. If you want to take that extra step to becoming a full-on supporter, I would really appreciate that. Even just $1 a month gets you early access to content, and I would really appreciate it to keep this train rolling. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.